Hi, family. How are you loving today? I hope everybody is having a glorious day, especially with this crazy energy that's in the atmosphere. It's totally changing consciousness. So if you're feeling tired or you're feeling headaches or you're just feeling like you're constantly being triggered, and you're going down this rabbit hole of just these negative, repeating thoughts and patterns, I wanted to just tell you briefly about a message that I had gotten today. Um, so, if you don't know me, I'm Luna Prim. I own and operate a Reiki salon. That's not normal. So, it's the physical representation and manifestation of energy work. And I totally believe in practical spirituality. I mean, there's no point in doing spirituality if you can't actively apply it to your life. And lately, I have been really super triggered and trying to get to the root of the actual problem, not the symptoms, but the root, right? And so I've been doing the work because that's the only way that you're gonna. Because I was just like, I'm sick and tired of being fucking triggered. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of going down these stupid rabbit holes. So I'm like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. So I'm doing the work, getting up every morning, doing my yoga, doing my meditation, sitting still, being in the present moment. And I was sitting there in the present moment. And I had gotten a message, and if you watch my channel, go back to the video where I talk about the Christian and the boats. And short version is Christian's drowning, 3 boats come to save him. He doesn't get in the boats because he says God's going to save him. He's asked God for help. He dies. He goes to heaven. God says, I sent you 3 boats. So here's the second part that I got today about it. And it was from a different perspective. And that's all that life is. That's all growing and self-development is new, higher aspects of your perception and interpretation of things, because there's a lot of people out here that are going to tell you their own interpretation and their own perception, and it might influence your decision. And that is why we say go within. And go within means sitting and breathing and paying attention to your thoughts, to your feelings, and to what your physical body is doing. And then changing it, working through it, validating yourself. Okay? So the higher aspect of it was, now what if you were in the boat? And I just had a recognizance knowing, just a knowing of, now if you were in that boat and you were doing the fucking work and you were aware on the fact that you were an extension of God, goddess, universe, source, spirit, intelligence, whatever you want to call it, and you were in that boat and you looked at him and he said to you, no, I'm waiting for God. What if you were the one person who said, well, God sent me. I heard his voice. He told me you were here. I came to you and now I'm here to rescue. God sent me. Do you think that fucking Christian would have reached out his hand and gotten that damn boat? I think he would have. I think he would have. And that's when I realized, mind blown. Mind blown. Because I realized in that instant that I am running on a higher vibration, on a higher consciousness than that person in the water. And if I allow my triggers to take hold, then I forget who I am, what I'm really capable of, and the power that I possess. And see, when you get into your triggers, you start cutting people off, you start putting up boundaries, and you just start getting into this like, fuck you. But if I am doing the work and I remember that my triggers are an illusion, that it's just some fucking shit I haven't dealt with, and I still always have this presence of mind of who I am and what I'm capable of, then I could have looked at that person and said, well, you're in luck. God sent me. Now take my hand and get in the boat. I'm wondering if that Christian would have got into the boat. So when I'm looking at people out here who are making choices and making decisions at the best of their capability in the moment that they can make them, that's what holding space is. It's not about cutting them off. It's about realizing that you have more power than you possibly imagine. And the minute that you say, God sent me, I heard him, and somebody takes your hand and you save them from drowning, even if it's just a hand, even if it's just an ear to listen, even if it's just a fucking video on YouTube, even if it's just somebody sitting in your chair and I'm cutting their hair. Imagine the possibilities. Because that's what this is about. It's not about managing your fucking PTSD. It's not about managing your triggers. Because that's what real taking your power back means. So, are you the person on the boat that is going to stand up and say, hey, God sent me, and I'm here for you? I hear these lines in the spiritual community: cut off people who are no longer serving you. Is that really true? Because if you're operating on a higher frequency, if you're operating on a higher awakening in your own self-discovery, isn't that the whole point? Is to help the people that can't see. Because there were many moments when I was in the ride and I couldn't see choices. I couldn't see because I was so far into the dark. And there were people that went, eh. And then there were some people that knew who they were, knew that they were higher. And they said, take my hand because you're higher than this. And that's what changes lives. Go beyond your triggers. Triggers are just to let you know you still have stuff to release. Validate it. Thank you, trigger. Thank you. Because I don't want to be triggered anymore. And there is clearly a fragment of my mind that is in this continuous loop of being in that space, and I don't want to be in that space. I want to go higher. And just taking a moment to say, thank you, trigger, but I want to see all the choices that I have. And see what happens. See how many more options you have than to just lose your shit or to demand a certain treatment or demand a certain recognition. Because it starts with you. Validate yourself first before you ask somebody to validate you. Acknowledge yourself before you ask somebody else to acknowledge you. Take celebration in your own accomplishments before you look to somebody else to do it. And don't necessarily believe that every fucking spiritual fucking person that's out on this fucking internet because if they say something and you don't feel better or you don't have some sort of holy shit mind-blowing aha moment, then scroll past. Scroll past. This channel is about me documenting my own journey. If it helps people along the way, then I know the right people will find it. But I don't make money off of this channel. I don't sell shit on this channel. This channel is so that I can go back and see my own growth with my physical eyes, with my physical ears. For the moments that I think I'm doing all this work and I don't see anything and I don't feel like I'm growing, I can go back and I can look at that video and say, well, at one moment I realized that human beings are the angels. Human beings are the messengers. Now at this video, I'm realizing, oh shit, those people in those boats are fucking God. They're gods and goddesses. And because we are all connected, they heard another God saying, hey, I need help. I can't see my choices. I can't see my worth. I can't see. I can see. Here's a hand. So who do you want to become? Who are you now? Because you can only go up. I love you. Find your peace. Find your joy. And thank your triggers. Because if you didn't have them, you wouldn't grow. Peace.